Can Alabama get two 1,000-yard receivers in 2023? We need to talk about it, but if you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And by doing so, it greatly helps out my channel, and it helps me grow as a content creator. Well, last season for the Alabama Crimson Tide, we didn't have a good season at the wide receiver position, and it's kind of head scratching, and a lot of the blame can be blamed on Bill O'Brien, but I blame a lot of it on the players, in particularly. Um, Players didn't really run their routes. Like they'll run and then they'll stop. They want to sit in their zones and stuff like that. So Alabama's not used to having wide receiver play like that. You can go all the way back to the older players that Alabama's had. The Matt Cadells, the Mike McCoys, the DJ Halls, the Julio Jones, Amari Cooper, and then you got into the Jerry Judys of the world, the Jalen Waddles. All those guys, came to Alabama, and Alabama was producing 1,000-yard receivers, and we had multiple. Last season we failed to get 1,000-yard receiver, and that's very un-Alabama like. And the only guys that I can think about that was last to able to get 2,000-yard receivers in in a season of course was Jameson Williams. And I'm gonna just read off how many yards he was able to get. In 2021, he was able to get, he had 79 receptions for 1,572 yards and had 15 touchdowns. He came in as a transfer from Ohio State, came to Alabama and just lit it up. Elite speed, had a great route tree, could run it all, man. And him and the other guy was John Mechie. John Mechie had a good season as well. When he, in 2021, he had a great game. He had 96 receptions for 1,142 yards, and he was able to get 8 touchdowns. But both guys went down with injuries in 2021. We all know Mechie hurt himself, and in the matchup against the Georgia Bulldogs in the SEC championship, he went down. And then, of course, Jameson Williams went down as well against Georgia in the national championship. So those were our last two guys that was able to get 1,000 yards and more. And the 2021 season, we had in our minds that the wide receiver play was going to be better in 2022. 22 came around, head scratching. Wide receivers just weren't getting open. And I want to be optimistic going forward into 2023. I believe we will get 1,000-yard receiver, but the question is going to be, can we get two? And I was just reading off, what the receivers did last season. At one point, Jahmyr Gibbs, our running back, he was the leading receiver at one point. That was a bad, sign right there that our wide receivers weren't producing. Having a running back get all, the most receiving yards. But finishing the season, though, Jermaine Burton finished the season with 677 yards receiving, and he had 7 touchdowns. He was averaging 16.9. That's pretty good. Ja'Cory Brooks, the other guy, we all know what he did against Auburn in that game to make us go into overtime, catching that touchdown pass. We targeted him more last season, at the wide receiver position. He's kind of separating himself from everybody else. He had 674 receiving yards, and he was averaging 17.3, and he had 8 touchdowns. So both Jermaine Burton and Brooks, they both were neck and neck as far as receiving. But like I said, 677, very, very low output for our wide receivers. Of course, we had Kobe Prentice. He had 337. Trayshawn Holden had 331. Isaiah Bond, 220. Kendrick Law came in and got 103. Definitely a guy that I think we should utilize more this season. I think we need to utilize Law, Bond, Prentice, and some other guys. Emmanuel Henderson. This is a guy that came in as a running back. He's officially now a wide receiver. So we definitely got to get the wide receiver play up. But I'm very optimistic that Alabama can get some two wide receivers get over 1,000 yards. Considering the guys that Nick Saban has hired, it looked like he's trying to get Alabama back to run the ball and playing good defense. And they got me wondering, will the wide receivers, get, their production up? I think they will. You run first to set up the pass. I think wide receivers will get theirs, and I think Alabama will get multiple wide receivers, but with good, receiving yards, but uh, maybe 1,000-yard receiver and another one real close to getting to 1,000. But what do you guys think? Do you think Alabama's going to have multiple, two guys that may get over 1,000 yards receiving? Considering that we have Tommy Rees coming in as the offensive coordinator. He did a very, very good job while he was at Notre Dame, guys, and had a really, really good game against South Carolina in that bowl game. And he's really, really good. And I think he had a good outing against Clemson as well. So Notre Dame had, from what he had at, Notre Dame, he did a pretty good job at the position, being a quarterback whisperer, for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and calling the plays for them. But what do you guys think? Think Alabama will have 2,000-yard receivers? Do you think the running backs are going to be, the position group that's going to take over this season, or do you think the tight ends will be? You leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. And once again, guys, if you haven't, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll definitely be back with more college football content. Thanks, guys, and roll tide.